What's going on, everybody? Happy Monday. Usual Monday crew, Hoop, AP, myself, breaking down a nice 8-game slate. Some injury news as always on an 8-gamer on Mondays, but excited to be talking some hoops. I hope everybody out there had a great weekend. It was definitely a little weird. No football yesterday. It's going to be tough getting used to it, no doubt about it. But we got one more week with football on Sunday next week. Hoop, I'll start with you. I saw the big golf week this week, big MMA this week, big NFL this week, a bunch going on over here. Saw you already dropped your first look for the waste management. It's free for everybody, so you can check that out on YouTube. Man, golf, MMA, UFC, MMA, NBA, NFL. Can't drop a better week, man. How's it going?
Yeah, I mean, it's just so cool, the Waste Management Phoenix Open. I mean, it's the one event that's just – it's kind of different than – all the others, and it's exciting because you get this first field that's very strong. It seems like it keeps getting stronger too. It feels like guys want to be a part of this event, and it makes it fun. And Rory and Rom, the first time they're playing together this year, it's going to be exciting. And you were mentioning pre-show that you're going to be going to it, so that is exciting as well. Love to get out there one day. I mean, anyone that goes there says it's like a must if you're a sports fan or a golf fan. So maybe get out there at one point. So it sounds like it's going to be a busy weekend for you because Super Bowl in town as well. So title, rest in peace, my friend. It's gonna be a long one for you. Yeah, it felt weird though this past weekend without NFL. It was very bizarre. Even the wife and kids. Are you doing you don't have the Sunday show this week? I was like, there's no football. Like it's the first Sunday without football. Felt weird. Get one more crack at it next week. Should be an exciting game. And obviously, you know what side I'm on. I mean, I've been hating on the Eagles all season long. Got to stick with it. And I'm riding with AP's Chiefs on Sunday. So we'll see how it all plays out.
Yeah, it'll be a good one. I'm going on the other side. I'm going against AP's Chiefs.
I know
we'll see
you
how
are.
that is, though. Hoop, hey, it's not too late. You can still come down. I'm going Friday, Saturday. Fly out here. Yeah. I mean, you can sleep on the floor. As I told Big T, you can sleep on the floor at my place if you want. Otherwise, there's hotels and stuff around my place can be packed. But come on, Hoop. You're free to come. Super Bowl weekend, a lot can go on. But I know you won't be making that spontaneous trip. AP, go over to you, man. How's it going? Super Bowl week. You got to be excited. Golf. A bunch of stuff going on this week. NBA, good slate tonight. What's going on?
Yeah, I mean, Super Bowl week. I mean, I think we're all excited. I'm especially excited, obviously, a Chiefs fan. But title, before we get into this, I mean, you're a sharp guy, one of the sharpest, guys on our team. Why are you on the Eagles side? I don't get it, man. You were always a Mahomes backer. Oh, I mean,
They will dominate the trenches is why I'm on there.
Did you watch the Bengals game?
Of course I did.
I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that.
The Bengals that was their biggest weakness was the Bengals trenches. They have no O-line.
I might have to slide in. We'll chat. Okay. I already got a lot. I mean, I got most of my action at +2. You're probably not giving me +2, are you?
No.
I mean, it's going the other way now. It's down to 1.5. It's going to be 1, and
give you what
when we get to game time, it's going to be a pick 'em. So you got to get now if you want the Chiefs. But no, title. I mean, NBA has been absolute fire. They just had the single entry series. Our boy Nadesify shipped that thing. He got first. I was closing in on him, and then I had a bad last day, and that's how it goes. I ended up getting 12th, but I was right there at the end trying to take down Nades. But Nades got it done. He got first, a nice $6K, I think, added to the bankroll. So huge shout out to Nades. And everyone, NBA right now, Run Pure Sports is on absolute fire. You got Gary taking stuff down. I've had a few good weeks. You got Bobby H. You got Glock. Those two shipped yesterday. So I'm excited to tackle this nice slate that we have tonight.
Yeah, NBA, I was about to shout out the Nadesify. I mean, big congrats to you, the single entry. I mean, Big T shipped. He got a live final seat last week as well. Big T says NBA has been really good. Bunch of screenshots for members in the Discord. If you're not a member, I don't know what you're going on or what you're doing. We got we'll do Title 15 as a promo code. Don't shout myself out too often, but Title 15 gets you 15% off. SaberSim's also included too. A bunch of people I see tagging Run Pure Sports and tagging SaberSim, helping them. I saw golf, huge hits there. SaberSim's a great tool for all sports. Use it for MMA, use it for a bunch for tournaments. So if you're not a member, we do have the partnership with SaberSim as well. That 15% is included in that deal. Title 15 will get you 15% off. Let's say hi to a couple people, though, in chat before we go game by game. We do have a nice 8-game slate to talk through and dive through today, but we got Mike Carr in here as usual. Sprite Soda, like that name. That's a new one. Nazify, Go Collect. Jordan's in here. Coach, Nick, Donnie, Reezer, No Fan, Sean. We got Nick, Luis. So many names in here. Bill Miner, Paraby, Beast Bets. P. Lally's always in here. Sylvester Payne, our boy Tyler from the bet side, TB12, Mr. Patrick Rice, Chris Mall, Andrew Martinez. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us. All we ask is like button, subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds out of your day, and we appreciate it. Always helps us out. But we got 8 games on tap. Some of the injury news we're waiting on right now, the questionable takes we got, the big ones. Keldon Johnson's questionable. Bradley Beal's questionable. Jaylen Brown's questionable. Isaiah Stewart's questionable. Ben Simmons is questionable. And I guess I'll throw in there Frankie N. Frank Ntilikina. I botched that last name. I'll get it right hopefully when it comes up. But the Mavs are so shorthanded. Usually Frankie N is not a big touching point on this slate, but it is on this screen. That is for sure. Let's go game by game, though. We'll start with the first game of the night. Cleveland Cavaliers, Washington Wizards, 222 total. Cleveland is favored by 2. Going over to the injury report for Cleveland, Karis LeVert is questionable, so another piece of news that matters a little bit. We'll get that news before lock, though. Ricky Rubio out. Dylan Windler, K. Falix boy out. Going over to the Washington side, Bradley Beal is questionable as well, so some injury news in this one. We got to wait for it. We will get it before lock. Obviously, we will get it before lock, obviously. Kuzma is also out in this one, though. AP, I'll throw it over to you to start. Does Bradley Beal news do anything for you? Does Karis LeVert news do anything for you? What do you see in this first game?
Yeah, I mean, this Wizards team, I mean, they're in absolute shambles. I mean, I give them credit. They went on a win streak. I think they got like 6 or 7 in a row. And then you got back-to-back games where you've given up 20-point leads and you lost. One of those games was to the Nets, and the Nets had absolutely no one. Kyrie was out, KD obviously out. You had Cam Thomas and Edmund Sumner that just balled out. Nick Claxton balled out as well. So I think this is like a kind of a sneaky spot because Garland, Allen, I don't see these guys popping in projections too hard. And you got to love the spot. I mean, they were close. Garland was close to being a flowchart play on this slate. But as you'll see, if you go over to Rumpier Sports, you check out the flowchart plays, it is loaded. This slate is absolutely loaded with some of the best opposing guards against or point guards against teams spot that you could actually have on a slate. You got the Jazz, you got the Rockets, OKC, Warriors, Spurs. I mean, those are all premier spots to attack from the point guard position. The Wizards, though, man, it's a nice spot. So like Garland, I think is a really good tournament play. And then they're struggling against opposing bigs big time. Obviously, so when you look at Jarrett Allen, 6.8K, he's not going to be a guy that pops too hard in projections. And so I think he's going to be a little bit lower owned tonight. So I really like Allen here. I really like Garland. Those are the 2 guys that I'm focused on. I don't think we can attack. Like, this is just not a spot where we want to attack this Cavs team. They're playing really good defense. Actually, Isaac Okoro, he's been stepping up big. And he's actually been producing offensively, but mainly he's in there for his defense, and he's been playing really well. So how I see it, pretty simple for me, Title. I like Garland. I like Allen. And the Wizards are a full fade for me.
I like it. So even if Bradley Beal gets ruled out, nothing will change there. Wizards are a fade, no doubt. And Karis LeVert news.
Good question. I think Bradley Beal plays. It's just like ankle soreness. He's been in the spot multiple times. I think he plays. But if he were to be ruled out, I think you would have to look at someone like Kendrick Nunn. But again, we got Jaden Hardy later to talk about on the slate. We're going to have plenty of better value. So even if he is ruled out, I would still probably fade or pretty much be under on this Wizards team.
Yeah, definitely makes sense. I don't see too much ownership going here. AP mentioned the flow chart. Baseball Dad bringing up tons of, it's been a money printer for a bunch of people over here at Rumpier. Flow chart is insanity. That alone is worth the money. AP does a great job on that every single day. A newer piece of content we've had. So check that out. Big T uses it a lot too. How do you not? It's been printing so far. Hoop, go over to you. Does Bradley Beal, LeVert, questionable takes mean anything? Don't see too much ownership going in the first game. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, the Levert news to me is actually, more important than the Beal news, which kind of sounds a little bit counterintuitive. But the Wizards just continue to be just a pretty difficult team for fantasy purposes. And okay, even if Beal's out, do you want to spend 9.6K for Porzingis? Like that's a big boy price tag. If anything on the Wizard side, maybe Gafford at 5.3K, but I'm not excited to play him. The upside I think is a little bit limited. I think you can count on maybe like 25 fantasy points or something, and that's probably not going to get it done. So maybe more of like a cash play or something. But the Wizards just a tough team, and then the matchup obviously is not great. But the Cavs, I do have some interest in, and really it's mostly due to like the price tags, like Garland and Mitchell. We've seen them in the mid 8s, upper 8s, closing in at 9. Well, now Garland's 8K and Mitchell's 8.3K. I think both viable options. And then Jared Allen, I'm good with. Evan Mobley finally starting to get the job done. Like, that stretch where there's like no usage. He's playing minutes but not doing anything. Well, he's kind of beyond that now. And 7.2K, he's been very solid. And then if Levert's out, our guy Okoro, playing mid to upper 20s in terms of minutes, and he's actually been relatively productive. And then it's the guy we always tell the joke about. I don't know what now it's like 2 or 3 seasons ago. It was like opening night. He was like the clear value play of the slate. He played like 44 minutes or something and went into overtime and got like 3 fantasy points. It defied literally all logic. But, we always have to tell that story when we talk about Mr. Okoro. But yeah, I mean, I think we could see up to 5 Cavs guys in play, but still, like, none of them are really like a core play for me. They're guys that if I land on them, I'm good with it. If you're doing 150 teams, I'd be looking to get exposure to them. It's a good spot. Total in this game, not the greatest, but the spread is close. We can get a competitive game potentially here. So interested in the Cavs, not all that much the Wizards side.
Yeah, I haven't clicked that Okoro name since that night hoop. I've swore that dude off. I mean, one of these days,
it is weird.
I might need Garland, Allen, Mobley, and Mitch to be out. But yeah, no, that was a
scarring. That was just like a scarring situation. It was like so crazy because like you're rooting for him to do anything, and then they get overtime. Like, all right, I'm gonna get bailed out in overtime, and like then he goes backwards. Yeah, he goes backwards.
And then he got hurt.
Overtime.
And then he sprained his ankle. I finished like 3.2 FanDuel points in 44 minutes or something that will never be beaten. I think the cardio king is what I'll always call him from that.
Yes.
But yeah,
I mean even like I'm like so confident that like anyone I know that's semi-athletic, if you told them, right, go out there and beat 3 fantasy points, you'd find a way to pick up a couple loose rebounds or a steal or something, anything. You did nothing. It was hurtful.
Yeah, and I do got to shout out. We're talking other sports right here. Jody Grant. It's March Madness is coming up. We got college basketball, of course. Stevie Borton pulled me in for college basketball, paid for my sub, and fat my bankroll. 3 sports in 3 days. Good content, entertaining as well. Stevie Boynton, basketball. I saw Big T picked up college basketball seat. Stevie Boynton picked up 2. A bunch of members been crushing that. March Madness right around the corner as well. So every sport, one price over here. League of Legends, I saw someone had a big hit. I mean, esports still going on. NASCAR just started too. Saw some good screenshots there. A lot of sports are picking back up. So, yeah, shout out to you, Jody Grant. Shout out to you, Stevie Boynton, getting the college.
I got to hit up our boy Jason that does the article at Run Pier.
Priest, I saw you yesterday. I should have said that.
God, it was close, man. I was right up there at it's so funny because you can go from winning NASCAR and like within 1 lap, you can go to like losing almost everything. It is absolutely wild, and actually finally worked in my favor for once where the last lap darted me up. I had a ton of teams at the top, fell just short, but it was all based off the content from Jason, Coop, and Matty Ice. Like I didn't look at anything else. I mean, I went off 100% of what those guys produced yesterday. They did a good job because a lot of moving parts. I don't understand the format, but they do like qualifying races, then guys are eliminated, then they play some, and they're all over it with the content. And again, I know nothing about NASCAR, and I found a way to make a few bucks.
Yeah. I mean, I got to just chime in. Matty Ice, this dude not only crushes NASCAR, he's our lead hockey guy and tennis. The guy's daily in there in the tennis streets. So huge shout out to Matty Ice. The guy absolutely Prince.
Oh, does he ever? I mean, he's in the golf streets doing stuff too. I mean, he's jumping all over sports. But yeah, hockey, NASCAR, and tennis are the main ones over there. So shout out you, Matty Ice. Bunch of sports, like we're saying. We're talking all these sports. Who took, I think, 3rd or 4th in that in the NASCAR yesterday? It was a close one. Third. So one sport, everything you get. Title 15 gets you 15% off. Go ahead. Who tripled up in NASCAR? All I know is they turning left. That's all you need to know.
pretty much true for me. Like that's that's the truth.
Pull up the content. Saberson, they at NASCAR as well, and you can figure out the winners that way. So shout out to you guys. We're going to keep it rolling, though. Like button, subscribe button, all we ask for. We appreciate it. Next game on the slate, second game of 2 that locks at 7. Boston Celtics, Detroit Pistons, 229.5 total. Boston is favored by 10.5. Jaylen Brown is questionable for this one. It was a midday downgrade with an illness. We will get this news before lock, though, so we're not going to have to speculate. Going over to the other side, though, they're still without Marcus Smart as well, is Boston. Going over to the other side with Detroit, Isaiah Stewart is questionable, which is pretty big news on this slate. He's been playing good basketball, playing a lot of minutes. Hoop, I'll start with you. I mean, obviously, if Jaylen Brown's out, guys like Tatum gets a big bump. Derek White, Malcolm Brogdon, all the Celtics get bumps there. Yeah. You go to the other side, Isaiah Stewart's out. Jalen Duren becomes even a better play. Bogdanović, you always like him. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, I mean, it is just a tough spot on the Pistons side going up against Boston, obviously. So not a ton of interest. But yes, if Stewart's out, Jalen Duren would definitely be a play at 8.1. Jesus, if he was 8.1K, definitely wouldn't be a play at 5.1K. I'd be fine going there. But, man, even my boy Bogdanović, the matchup with Boston is just not all that good. I mean, they are at home, but, Boston can just, stick it to anyone. So not a ton on the Pistons side. On the Boston side, if Jaylen Brown's out, maybe Jason Tatum. But you look at Derek White, the price is 5.6. That's not great, even if Brown's out. And then Brogdon's at 6.1K. Those guys would be fine, but I don't know if I'd be jumping to them just because of the price tag. So really, for me, it's like Tatum if Brown's out. But, if these injury guys are in, I'll probably just fade this game. It's definitely not my favorite.
Yeah. AP, what do you got on this one? Jaylen Brown, do you think he plays? Do you think he sits? Any lean on the Isaiah Stewart? We will get it before lock, but obviously pretty big news on both sides.
I mean, one thing about this week, any midday downgrades to questionable, I'm going to be extra cautious with those spots this week, given that all the trade stuff going on. I mean, it's going to be one of the craziest weeks in the NBA. We see it every single year. And now there's more speculation, too, with Jaylen Brown. So, I think there's a real possibility that Jaylen Brown sits tonight, and he was one of the better flowchart play spots. These wings against Detroit absolutely smash. So, I would say that I would just, I think it would make Jason Tatum just that much better of a play if Jaylen Brown was going to sit. I also think Derek White, Brogdon, I think you could go there too. My preference would be Brogdon, but again, guard is loaded on tonight's slate. So really, I think the other best spot to attack from kind of like a flow chart perspective is with Robert Williams on this slate. So these bigs against the Pistons, and especially these ones that thrive off steals and blocks, they absolutely crush. We had Ayton put up almost 58 DK points. Claxton put up 50 against Detroit most recently. We haven't seen one of those ceiling Bob Williams spots in quite some time. I'm talking like a 40-piece and up. I think we see that tonight. I think Bob Williams absolutely smashes. He's been getting 30-plus minutes in close games. I think he gets 30-plus tonight. And he just, even if Jaylen Brown is out, it's not like that helps Robert Williams that much. But a key guy being out is going to help him. Maybe we get more balls in the paint and the inside. So Bob Williams, definitely one of my favorite plays. And then if Isaiah Stewart's out, I don't even know, man. These rotations on the Pistons side, I don't think, like Hoop said, I don't think we need to take the risk there. Jalen Duren would be fine, but still, he's center only. I want to play Bob Williams over him, and there's other center spots on the slate too that we can play that I think are better than Duren. So the Pistons, like they are on most slates, probably going to be a fade for me tonight. On the Celtics side, it's Bobby Williams and Jason Tatum if Jaylen Brown's out.
I think I know your answer. Brandon F., though, any love for Grant Williams? AP, I'll go to you.
I mean, the price.
Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, there's better value, but I would include, if Jaylen Brown was out, I would include him in my player pool. I just think there's better value on this slate.
Yeah, that's what I figured you were going to say. I mean, AP touched on a little bit of Hardy. We're going to get to Dallas and situations, but we have a couple thin teams. We have a lot of questionable tags. Like Jaylen Brown gets ruled out. There's Derek White. There's Brogdon. There's other stuff there. A lot of questionable tags could open up more value as well. So if you lock yourself into Grant Williams at 7 Eastern and other stuff opens up, man, I personally wouldn't love that. But if you follow him on his last piece, he's 3.4K. Big T talks about how those guys can't absolutely bury you. So we'll keep it rolling, though. That was Boston and Detroit. The first 2 games on the slate, not really the best 2 games for DFS. I don't think you're game stacking either of them. Let's see if we're game stacking this next one. Los Angeles Clippers, Brooklyn Nets, 220.5 total. Clippers are favored by 8. John Wall's the only one out in the Clippers that's been like that, though, so nothing has changed there. As far as Brooklyn, KD is still out. Obviously, Kyrie got traded, so he is not playing. Seth Curry is still out, and Ben Simmons is questionable. Hoop, I'll go to you in this one. Talk about if the Ben Simmons news does anything for you. Cam Thomas, if anyone missed what he just did last game, 45% usage rate, 44 real points. The dude hardly missed. I mean, he's been a hooper. He can always get his on the offensive end. You going back to him at 5K, Edmund Summer, Claxton's been playing good ball. I mean, man, this Nets team looks a lot more interesting the other side on the Clippers. What do you see?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Cam Thomas, he was a hero to end the season last year for NBA DFS. It was like every single night you just locked him in. The dude was going off. I mean, he can put up fantasy points. But, I mean, still a somewhat tricky situation. Do you really want to pay $5K for Cam Thomas? The answer for me is most likely no, despite him just going for 60 fantasy points, which is absolutely insane. If Simmons sits, I think it's definitely a boost to Claxton. 7.9K, not a great price tag, but I wouldn't mind it here if Simmons is out. Royce O'Neal, I think, would be in the conversation. Maybe more of like a last guy in for cash or something for Royce O'Neal. I don't know how much upside he really has. Should play a lot of minutes. He's productive in multiple areas. So last guy in for cash on Royce O'Neal. I don't know if he'd be like a tournament play by any means. Joe Harris, I don't know. I mean, he can't get it going this year, and he's not playing a ton. Shots not falling. I don't think I can go there. And then Sumner's a great option. I mean, Sumner's another one of those baller type guys. Played 39 minutes, 40 fantasy points, only 4.5K. Definitely my favorite play on the Nets side. Still too cheap for him. And, he's probably going to be in play here for a while with the, Kyrie leaving town. Clippers continue to be a tough team to peg for fantasy purposes. I don't know, like, really where you want to go. We haven't seen, like, even with, like, Paul George, we haven't seen, like, the massive upside out of him. Kawhi's now up to, like, 9.7K. Just a difficult team for fantasy purposes. They still have a lot of bodies they can mix in. So I'll be off the Clippers side, but definitely interest on the net side, specifically in Sumner, Claxton, and then Royce O'Neal to some degree, small degree.
Someone in chat asked, you like or Cam Thomas or Sumner in GPPs? You like Sumner more?
Sumner, I mean, he's a safer option. I mean, again, they both went off last game. I'll take the starter. I just feel more confident in his role.
Yeah, the thing with Cameron Thomas, like people out there, like when he comes in, he will chuck. That's what Cameron Thomas does. So his shot falls, you'll get there. He gets a snowflake. You can lose out on minutes there. But, yeah, he definitely will have usage. AP, Sumner, Cam Thomas look like the main talking points in this game. Claxton a little bit. Clippers seem a little tough to get to, though. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, I mean, the one intriguing thing about Edmund Sumner is just the minutes and rotation that he got against the Wizards. He played 39 against them. So, I mean, at 4.5K. And, but, like, the one downside to him is, like, point guard only, which kind of makes him not too flexible from a roster construction standpoint on a slate where we have a lot of good point guard options. My worry here is the Nets look terrible in that first quarter against the Wizards. The Wizards went up like 22, I think it was 22, 23, like instantly. And then obviously Cam Thomas went off. The Wizards suck though. This Clippers team, their second unit, they have defensive pieces. Like if they go up 15-20 early, I don't think it's going to be a spot where this Nets team climbs back. And that does worry me because you got guys like Kessler Edwards, David Duke, Drew Smith, these Day'Ron Sharp, these guys, if they wanted to fully punt the game in the second half, we can see all these guys come in. Now, does Cam Thomas, the question that I have is, does Cam Thomas ball out with those guys in a blowout? If he's the guy that is, doesn't have any blowout risk at all, I would have interest in him. But like Hoop said, 5K price tag, that's a lot to pay for him. And I don't even think he's going to start tonight either. So a lot of risk there. I think like how I'm going to handle it is I'm just going to give them fair projections. And then I'm probably going to under project guys like Royce O'Neal, Joe Harris, even Nick Claxton, definitely Ben Simmons if he plays. He wouldn't even be on my radar at all. I'll just like under project those guys and just see if Cam Thomas, hits any of my builds. And that's kind of how I'm going to run it. And then I don't have any interest in the Clippers side. Kawhi Leonard, 9.7. We have better plays up in that range. Paul George, 8.9. The price tag is better, but I don't feel the need to go there, especially. And Todd, we talk about it all the time. We don't sit here and try to factor in blowout risk in these games. But I think that, like, if I had to bet this game, I would bet the Lakers or the Clippers side. Because I think they could absolutely hammer them. So overall, I'm under on this game. Maybe Cam Thomas in tournaments.
Yeah, I was looking at when we were talking through it, and I was thinking about when you're talking second unit and stuff. I was like, man, that 8 for the Clippers does look nice because, it'll be tough. Like if Cameron Thomas is the guy that's going off and getting hot, like you don't think the Clippers are going to adjust and throw Kawhi or try and throw a double or something, get the ball out of his hands? I mean, this team without Kyrie and KD, this is not a good Nets team. I think they can force the ball out of one guy that is crushing them and make someone else beat them, and they don't just have that many guys. So, yeah, the Clippers -8. It's not a betting show. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger, but that is my lean as well, AP, that you did bring it up. We'll keep it rolling, though. 600 watching, about 200 likes. Let's get 325 likes today. I think that's a very fair number. 325 for the plays of the day. We appreciate it in advance. We'll keep it rolling, though. Next game on the slate, big total. Two teams we usually like to pick on, the Sacramento Kings, the Houston Rockets, 238.5 total. Sacramento is favored by 7. On the Kings side, they're completely healthy. Fox will be back today after missing last game. As far as Houston, Kevin Porter Jr. is out. Garrison Matthews is questionable, which doesn't mean too much. Hoop, I'll go to you in this one. Usually, big total, decently close spread. Two teams we usually like picking on, but two teams relatively healthy outside of KPJ. What do you see?
Yeah, you look at the Kings and the Rockets, and you just look at the game and you think, all right, I want to load up for fantasy. And, man, I just don't know really where you go. Like you said, like the Kings are now basically back to full health, and everyone's price is up. You're not getting a price break on anyone. Like Herter, Barnes, Murray, all their prices are now, up a little bit from where they were before when they were playing without Fox. And Sabonis is 10.5. I guess long story short, if I'm playing anyone on the Kings side, it would be Sabonis. I think he could go off here. I think he's fine. But then it's like, man, do I want to spend on him or do I want to spend somewhere else? I don't know if I really want to go to him tonight. So it's just kind of a weird spot because like I initially said, you look at this game and you think you want to load up, but I just don't know really where you go. I'm not going to play Fox off the injury. So I guess the only play for me on the Kings would be Sabonis, and I don't know if I really like him all that much. Then on the Rocket side, they're a tough team. Sengun has gotten the job done for us quite frequently, but he's 8.6 now, and I just don't think I want to pay that price tag. And Eric Gordon's up to 5.5K. Like that's high enough for me where I don't have to play him, although he has been playing really solid basketball, which is somewhat surprising. So I guess long story short, despite the big total here and appealing game on paper, I just don't see many plays.
Yeah, it makes sense. Sabonis, I got a couple of things. Sabonis, a better price tag on FanDuel than DK, 10.5 on DraftKings, 9.5 on FanDuel. But De'Aaron Fox, I actually got some interest. He missed for personal reasons, so it wasn't an injury.
Yeah, baby narrative.
Yeah, 8.8K too. Tyler in chat talking about how he loves Fox. He's going to play about 40 minutes. And what I like doing with Fox, play the other side. Play Jalen Green as the run back there. Play both guards in this game. No KPJ. I like Jalen Green. I like De'Aaron Fox too in an up-tempo matchup. So I think that's how I'd go about it. Again, Sabonis, you can always play Sabonis. Better price tag on FanDuel though. AP, talk about those guys. Any like Eric Gordon, Jabari Smith, Sengun, any of those guys? Talk about this one.
Yeah, so this is one of the best flowchart plays or spots on the slate. So there was like a period of time where Houston was okay against opposing guards, but now they're back to being like just one of the best teams to just jam in these opposing guards against them. I'm with you, Tidal. Like De'Aaron Fox, you got the baby narrative potentially. That's the speculation out there. Should be well rested, and he's been balling. He's been playing, like you said, heavy minutes, and he's actually been producing too. 58, 50, 46 last 3 games. One of the games was in what I think is a similar spot which was against the Spurs. He put up a 58 piece. So I'm with you on Fox. I think he's a really good play. I am, though, like with what Hoop said about Sabonis 10-5. That's a hard price tag to pay when De'Aaron Fox is back. And then, like, if anything, I would almost rather go to like Şengün on the other side, a very similar play. Even at like Şengün, I think is almost a little overpriced now with Jalen Green back at 8-6. So for me, it's kind of easy. Like, we have a big total here, but for me, it's like Fox on the King side. And then Jalen Green, if we knew he was going to get – okay, so the game against OKC blew out. He played 22 minutes in that. Obviously, none of those guys were in the fourth quarter. You got to think that he sees 30-plus minutes here. And I think Jalen Green is very much in play here too. I believe the coach speak or whatever after the game, they were talking about how he was all pissed off. I mean, Shea Alexander just absolutely like dragged his sack over this entire team, like absolutely embarrassed them. Put up a 66. That was like my play of the day on that slate. 66 piece in 3 quarters. So, I mean, all we need Fox to do is give us, 4/5 of that in 4 quarters. I think we're all going to be happy. So that's where I'm at for this game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is a game I would love to. We have a lot of value to, like the Jabari Smiths of the world, like these other secondary pieces. If it was a slate where we really didn't have a lot of value, which we've seen in a couple slates recently, I think you could more game stack this game with the Jabari Smith, KJ Martins, Eric Gordons of the world. But on a slate like this, and with these two teams relatively healthy, even with the high total, like the prices just feel right for the most part. So I don't see myself game stacking it. Picking a couple pieces here and there, though, yeah. I think Fox is my favorite. Jalen Green right there as well. You can go Sabonis, of course, always better price tag on FanDuel. But you see the Rockets, you see the Kings. I wanted to game stack it up, but it doesn't look like the right opportunity or the right spot with the prices and the health for me. So we'll keep it rolling. That is the Rockets and the Sacramento Kings. Another game at 8 p.m. Eastern. Waiting on some news in this one. San Antonio Spurs, Chicago Bulls. Another big total, 239. Chicago is favored by 10. Going to the Spurs side, waiting on Keldon Johnson news. He is questionable with an ankle. Obviously, very big news there because the Spurs are already thin. Devin Vassell out, Jeremy Sochan out, Trey Jones out, and Romeo Langford out as well. Those guys have been out for a couple games, Sochan and Jones. Then Vassell and Langford, they've been out longer. But Keldon Johnson, huge news, would be very thin if he is short. As far as Chicago, Alex Caruso questionable, not much there. AP, I'll go back to you in this game. Talk about Keldon Johnson news, what that does. Branham, Josh Richardson, Jakob Poeltl. Spurs have to be talked about a little bit. Going to the Chicago side, Levine, DeRozan, Vooch. Usually those are the main guys we talk about. Break down this one, Spurs and Chicago.
Yeah, so Keldon Johnson made shoot around, so I expect him to play here. He is questionable, though, and as Mangone says, wait for the news. However, you make shoot around. Trey Jones didn't make shoot around, got ruled out. So I just am working under the assumption that Keldon plays. Look, if Keldon plays, they still have 11 guys. Like Blake Wesley, no one knows who that is. Pop played him last game.
Yeah, shout out K Fallick, though. K Fallick in the Up to Lock show said this guy's going to play 20 minutes. K Fallick was right, so he had a read on that one. But, yeah, he just got – he
played, 17 minutes. But, yeah, I mean, it's the thing, like, great shout-out, too. But the other thing is with the Spurs, Pop's going to play as many guys as he can. That's what Pop does. It's super annoying for DFS purposes. However, I do have interest in Jakob Poeltl here. He's actually been really good against Vucevic. He's played him 4 times over the last since he's been with the Bulls. And I think I just had it up. He's put up 39, 44, 30, and 48. And in each game, he's played 30, 30, 31 minutes. So like the normal run that he gets right around 28 to 32 minutes. And he's had a ton of good production in this matchup. So as far as like individual matchups goes at 5'9" for Poeltl, I think he makes for a really good tournament play tonight. Zach Collins has also played really well behind him. But I think this spot is much better for Poeltl. So I like the idea of going there. I just can't do Keldon Johnson. Like this guy, I don't think he's very good. In certain spots, he'll nuke, but man, you need the volume like to get there. I mean, this guy will take 20 shots and he'll make like 6 or 7 of them. He's just not having a good year at all. And then the backcourt, I think it's tough because if they work in Blake Wesley more, who look decent, that's going to come from Josh Richardson, Branham, and those guys. And so I do worry about some of their minutes. The other guy that I think gets some decent run here, who is actually kind of a decent play, is Stanley Johnson at 3-3. I know not like a name that might make you cringe, but he's actually been pretty good of late. So Stanley Steamer, as we call him, at 3-3, I think is an okay value.
Yeah, Stanley Steamer, Branham,
and then, Zach LaVine on the other side. So like I want whoever's going to have the ball in their hands and run the offense, and you got to think that's Zach LaVine. So, but like how I see it on the Bulls side, I think 2 of 3 of these kind of their studs, Vucevic, DeRozan, LaVine, I think 2 or 3 of them could crush. One's going to bust. Your guess is as good as mine. Which of the 2 or 3 is? So that's just how it is with the Bulls.
That's how I always say. You're saying 2 of the 3. I always just would make a rule: max 1, Vooch, DeRozan, LaVine. You hope you get the right one, but yeah, you very well could have the snowflake next to your name. Branham crushed last game. Yeah, Branham's been crushing. He has been very efficient from the field. He shot the ball very well, so don't think like 28 is his floor. I mean, he goes 3 for 14. He's not picking that up, but yeah, he's a good player. He's been playing well for sure. So we're going to go out under the expectation that Keldon Johnson does play hoop. Talk about the secondary pieces: Josh Richardson, Stanley Johnson, Branham, Collins, Pirtle. Can we get to some of them for value? Talk about the Chicago side.
I mean, with Pop, I mean, obviously he's going to use probably all the bodies that he has available, which makes it a little bit difficult. So if Keldon Johnson is in, it's just hard to get to some of these pieces. I mean, I still would be okay with this Branham guy. I mean, playing solid minutes. He was productive. Price is still, 4.5K. That's playable. Josh Richardson at, 5.5K. That's just a little bit too much for me. Like I can't get there. So, if Keldon Johnson does sit, then these guys come into the conversation a little bit more for me. Stanley Johnson too. Stanley Johnson is kind of popping up in projections too. No matter where you look, he's still showing up in there. So he's going to get some ownership, I think, probably either way. Like he's showing up as a very solid value. On the Bulls side, it's back to the situation where it's just tough to play anyone outside of LaVine, DeRozan, and Vooch. And, LaVine at 8.1K, I think is a fine option. He's been playing well, coming off a 55 fantasy point game, 50 over 50 in 2 out of his last 3. I think, he would probably be my favorite. DeMar DeRozan, you get the little revenge narrative, I guess. I know some people will like that one. And then Vooch, yeah, there it is.
Revenge.
Yeah, and then Vucevic, probably my least favorite out of the Bulls guys.
You make a rule max 1, 2, do you think?
Yeah, just because, man, the Spurs, I mean, it could just be a shit show with the Spurs and these guys, it turns into a blowout or something. You don't want to be loaded up on the Bulls. So, I wouldn't be playing multiples of those guys.
Yeah. We got 3 games left on the slate. That was the Spurs and Chicago Bulls. This next game we're going to talk about, Dallas, obviously, with the Kyrie news. He's not suiting up today. So a lot of pieces, a lot to discuss in that one. But right now, 700 likes, 250 watching. Solid, pretty good right now. We do need 325 for the plays of the day, though. So just want to remind you guys, like, subscribe. We appreciate it. Get you the plays of the day. 3 games left on this slate, though. 9 p.m. Eastern, Dallas Mavericks, Utah Jazz, 222.5 total. Utah is favored by 9. Talking about Dallas's injury report. So Christian Wood is going to play, which is important news. It sounded very likely that he was going to get traded by Thursday. He still very well could, but he wasn't a part of the Kyrie deal, so might stay. He is playing today, which is important. They're without, though. Luka's still hurt. Dinwiddie obviously got traded. Dorian Finney-Smith got traded. Maxi Kleba is out. Davis Bertans is out. And then Frank Ntilikina, Frankie N, is questionable today. That's a lot on that Dallas side, no doubt. As far as Utah, Jared Vanderbilt is questionable. Other than that, they are healthy. Jaden Hardy looks like one of the chalkiest guys on the slate. Welcome to February DFS. Names that you do not know are only going to get more and more popular as the year goes on. Frankie N, Frank Ntilikina, if he does play, min price $3K, he might get some ownership. There's Christian Wood at 8.4, Tim Hardaway 6.4, Josh Green 4.7. Hoop, I'll start with you. I didn't really touch much on Utah. Talk about them. Definitely the least intriguing side of talking about both of them. But Dallas, man, with Luka out, traded two of their better players that were playing big minutes. Got to look at some of these guys.
Yeah, so on the Dallas side, we know we're going to have interest there for sure, and it is wild that like the Ntilikina news is like relatively big. Like, yeah, it matters, which is wild. Like if he's in, he's a great play. If he's out, then all these other guys kind of get a boost, and kind of want to see who does end up starting here. But we have some good plays regardless. Jaden Hardy, like you said, Ntilikina if he's in, Tim Hardaway Jr. 6'4", not a price tag we love, but have to consider him. He'll be chucking, and then Christian Wood as well. So that's kind of like the core Dallas guys that are in play here. Obviously, the cheap guys are more valuable when it comes to roster construction because it makes a lot of things work when you can lock in Jaden Hardy at 3.4 and Ntilikina at 3K. So have to see if he's in or not. But if he's in, he's a great play. If he's out, these other guys get a pretty big boost. In these situations where, we know that we're going to be playing a lot of Dallas guys, I like to have at least a couple Utah guys that I'm interested in. I think the clear play is Kelly Olynyk at 4.1K. That's a cheap price tag, one of the cheaper tags we've seen on him all season. And then I know this is a gross one, and, we don't like playing him all that often, but Mike Conley kind of been getting the job done. I mean, he's under 6K. He's probably going to play right around 32 minutes, and, he typically pays off his price tag. Is it enough to win GPPs? Maybe. I mean, maybe he's more of like a cash play potentially, but man, he's probably my winner. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, a couple times.
Yeah. I mean, at 5.8K, if he somehow, put right now, you can count on him for like 30 fantasy points. If he can find like 8 to 10 more fantasy points out there, which I think he can, I see no reason not to play him. So it would be Olynyk and Conley, who I have some interest in on the Utah side. And then maybe, Jordan Clarkson. And again, the only reason I like doing this is because you're playing a lot of Dallas guys. So in your lineups, you kind of need this to be a competitive game. If it is, I don't mind getting some Utah pieces in there when building teams.
Yeah, for sure. AP, I'll go to you. So people talking about like Lauri Markkanen, price tags up there at 9K. People talking Dwight Powell, 4.6, just center eligible. I definitely like the Kelly Olynyk shout by Hoop. Fourth game back. The first two games only played 19 minutes. Last game played 29, so you don't have to really worry about the minutes. Also power forward eligible, which helps. Touch a little bit on the Christian Wood price tag as well, though. 8.4. Any uncertain? Are you nervous a little bit after he missed a couple of games? Lots to talk about. AP, what you got?
Yeah, so I mean, my take on the backcourt situation here is, so Frank Ntilikina was a midday downgrade, which is always concerning. I hope he plays because I think he would be a freaking terrible play. This guy's played well over 20 minutes 6 times this season. Do you think he's put up 20 DK points or more in any of those games? No, not even close. Only one time has he gotten over 15 DK points. The majority of those games, he lives between the 7 and 12 range. So, like, he's a defensive guy. We're going to all know who Jaden Hardy is after tonight. He's 3-4 tonight. He's going to ball out. This is one of the best flowchart plays on the entire slate. This Utah team getting absolutely torched by opposing guards. Dinwiddie just crushed in the same matchup, 58 DK points. Fred VanVleet, 73. Dame Lillard, Dame time, 89. Jaden Hardy's going to crush tonight. We all got to lock him in. All three of us, I know, are going to lock him in. It's Hardy season. You're going to see Glock in chat just absolutely going nuts, stroking to this guy. So the Mavericks when they made this trade, they made it a firm point to make sure to keep 2 guys. Well, not 2 guys, but 2 young guys, and that's Jaden Hardy and Josh Green. I think both are awesome plays tonight. I think both play a ton of minutes. So, like, when I look at this, the guy I want to fade is actually THJ, 6'4". That's a big price tag for him. He's the one I would prefer to fade. I mean, the one thing the Jazz have been good at doing is kind of defending the three ball and spot shooters. They've been worse against these ball handler types, and that's going to be Jaden Hardy tonight. Reggie Bullock, I always just fade him. You could actually see some McKinley Wright if Frank Ntilikina doesn't go. Even if Ntilikina's in there, give me like 15 minutes of McKinley Wright over frickin' Frankie Smokes. who just sucks. Good defender, but sucks for DFS. And then if Christian Wood plays, I think he's a good play. Like the guy, it's a weird situation. They offered him an extension, hasn't taken it, and then now he's also a trade candidate. So you got to play this a couple different ways. You need to make sure he's starting. If he doesn't start, I would not play him at all. He'd be a full fade. And then you're looking at Dwight Powell. Bigs have done pretty good against this Jazz team. So it's going to be a really interesting situation. Powell is always a gross name to click on. But, man, if we didn't have Wood in there for some reason, if he didn't start, you would have to consider him for sure because he would get a ton of minutes. And then on the other side, yeah, I'm definitely with Hoop on Kelly Olynyk, 4.1K. I also think there's some risk to Jared Vanderbilt not playing, which would boost the stock to Walker Kessler and Kelly O. I know he's been dealing with like back spasms and stuff, so another situation to keep an eye on. But for me, man, I'm all in on Hardy tonight. And I would love it if Ntilikina would play because that would take ownership away from Hardy. I don't think that's going to be the case, though, tonight. And then Josh Green is the other guy that I like in this matchup.
So great breakdown for sure. Hammer asked, can we play Wood and Hardy together? Yeah, of course you can play Wood and Hardy together.
All right, so Jaylen Brown was ruled out. Are we going to get KD to the Celtics? I mean, should we just give them the championship already if they get KD? Are you kidding me?
Is that what you're thinking? You think
that's what the speculation. Twitter world. That's what Twitter world's saying. It was trending on Twitter.
Yeah,
that'd be sick. Yeah.
That'll be interesting. But for today, for today, AP, now that we touched a little bit if Jaylen Brown was out. Obviously, Jason Tatum, you said a little bump to Robert Williams, but like the Derek Whites, the Malcolm Brogdons of the world. How do you see them now, AP? Then I'll go to you, Hoop, quick. We'll touch on that before the last two games.
Yeah, so one thing I didn't mention, like this Pistons team, they leave a lot of 3-point shooters open. So I think any of these guys are in play, even like Al Horford, who is old and dusty, but he shoots a lot of threes. So Al Horford, I think you can play any of them. A bump to Tatum, but still that price tag at $11K. You need this to be a competitive game, and even with Jaylen Brown out, I still think the Celtics are going to have their way with the Pistons tonight.
Karis LeVert in. Thank you, Jordan. K. Falik. Hoop, any thoughts on that Jaylen Brown, what it does today?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a boost to Tatum, but it's like, man, it is a big boy price tag. It is a game they could still end up smoking the Pistons in. I mean, the Pistons are terrible. And man, it's just I just don't love like the price tags all that much. Like Brogdon at 6'1", White at 5'6". It's still, man, it's one of those weird situations where you get this big piece of news and still don't love it. Yeah, I mean, maybe Horford at 4'8". I mean, he's definitely going to shoot it more. He'll play. Yeah, maybe Horford as a value, I guess, but Tatum then Horford, I guess, would be my two.
Yeah, I think Tatum definitely gets the biggest bump for sure.
Yeah.
You look at the spread is a little concerning, but if they do blow him out, you think a lot of it is because Jason Tatum already got there in 3 quarters or something. So is Chetty a good play? Someone said I would not play Chetty Osman today. I don't think so. No, I would say no on that. Giannis or Tatum? We will get to that. I will ask that question at the end after we talk about the Bucks. Remind me if I forget talking about Giannis and Tatum, though. But it definitely has to be pretty close now with that Jaylen Brown news. We got 2 games left on the slate. Almost 300 likes already. 325 is what we need. Up to Lock Show will be important as always today. We got K. Falik, JSU, and who's the third? DC, I believe. I believe it's those 3 taking you up to lock today. You do need to be a member for that, though. Title 15. Gets you 15% off. SaberSim is also included. Huge week of sports, huge prize pools in multiple sports this week, and a lot of money to be made. No better time to join. Head over Run Pure Sports. Again, Title 15 gets you 15% off. 2 games left. That game, the Dallas-Utah, was at 9. This game, 10 p.m. Eastern. Oklahoma City Thunder, Golden State Warriors, 234 total. Golden State favored by 4. Probably wondering why Golden State's favored by 4 against OKC. Steph is out. Looks like he'll be out for a little while. On the OKC side, Lou Dort is out. Outside of that, though, nothing has changed for them. AP, I'll go to you in this one. Jordan Poole obviously is going to be – I was talking about Hardy being the most popular. Jordan Poole probably will be the most popular player on the slate, rightfully so. The price tag 6'2", should be 8.2K or something. Wiggins 5'8", Clay 7K, Draymond 6'4". Those are the main guys on the Warriors. Any interest in all of, or how many is too many Warriors? Who are your favorites out of those guys? Talk about OKC too.
Yeah, I mean, this is another good spot for the backcourt guys, Jordan Poole especially against OKC. OKC, a team that like is playing good defense, but that was with Lou Dort in the lineup. Ever since Lou Dort's been out, it's been a pretty significant hit to them defensively. They still show up in certain spots. Last game, obviously, but that was against, a broken Rockets team that couldn't do anything at all. So you got to love Poole here. He's like another gather guy.
You somehow clicked mute.
We all got muted somehow. That was weird.
Yeah, that was weird.
We all got muted. So yeah, the other thing too is like
now your mic is now you got a different mic on. I don't know what you said.
That was
crazy. Still hear you, but make sure you're on the right mic. Hey, well, while AP's looking at his mic, Sprite Soda's talking about man. No, I got something.
All right, is that good now?
Yeah, I will. So go ahead, and then I'll say what I was about to about Mango.
Go ahead.
Before hoops, Sprite Soda's asking about Mangone. Where's Mangone? Actually, Mangone today, the playback. Mangone will be live with Glock later tonight, 9:15 Eastern. A lot of you guys probably are familiar what we're doing on playback. Big 2-game slate, too, with big prize pools tonight. So we'll post a link. It'll be on Twitter. It'll be in Discord. We watch basketball. You guys ask questions. Just a laid-back show. They'll be talking the night slate as well. So Glock, Mangone, Sprite Soda, you're looking for them, 9:15 Eastern. You'll see Mangone's pretty mug today. We'll go to you, though. Hoop, break down this one, and AP will figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a very appealing spot without Steph and Jordan Poole. Yeah, he's going to be by far the highest owned guy in the slate. Just very, very tough to avoid. But the pivot I like, and it's a guy that I don't actually like as a basketball player. But Klay Thompson, man, like he's had these big games all season, and I think he has another big one tonight. 7K. A lot of people are obviously just going to go to Poole, and yes, Poole is a great play, but Klay Thompson, the most expensive Warrior guy, maybe goes a little overlooked. So certainly interested there. Wiggins and Draymond as well. I think all four of those guys, very, very strong options. And then it kind of turns into one of those situations that I like to talk about where I know I'm going to be loading up on these Warriors. I want OKC on the other side, SGA, massive upside, 10-7. People might avoid that price tag. And then Giddey's been playing pretty well too. I mean, 3 straight games with at least 44 fantasy points. So you have 2 clear runbacks on the OKC side. So really good spot here, obviously, for the Warriors. They're going to be popular, but I think it might be Klay Thompson night again, boys.
How many is too many Warriors, Hoop? That was a question asked. I mean, I don't think we're playing 5, 4.
Yeah, I mean, I think just 3. I mean, I wouldn't do more than 3, and then I think you kind of want an OKC guy in there. But yeah, 3 is where you draw the line there.
Yeah, I mean, SGA will be sub 5% today. That price tag, especially with Tatum now, I mean, he's going to be very low owned. It's a lot easier if I had to pick a run back. It would be Giddey. The 2.9K savings goes a long way. But yeah, if you get 66 from SGA at 2% today, you definitely are happy. AP, keep going. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, we should be back.
Yeah, you sound
perfect. You sound good. All right, perfect. Yeah, so like for me, Jordan Poole with you guys, I think he's just such a good play. I mean, he has been like he has like not been shooting the ball too well, but just such a good get right spot. So and the price tag too, like 6'2", assuming that he gets a massive run here, which he should. It's hard to see him not like pay off that tag. Then Draymond Green is the other guy. It's just a good matchup for him. He should is like I always get worried when Steph is out though with Draymond. It's like that's his boy. Obviously, they're like attached to the hip, and so but if Draymond comes motivated, 6'4", he's going to be a really good play. And then yeah, if you're not playing Poole, you got to go Klay Thompson or Wiggins or even DiVincenzo, who's probably going to come off the bench unless they want to go that small ball route again tonight. But the other thing, too, is like OKC likes to play small. So I do think we get – and this is why Draymond's going to be even a better play. I think we do get a lot of Poole, Klay, Wiggins, DiVincenzo, and then Green out there on the court just to kind of, match up good with OKC. So I think it's a great game environment. Shea at 10-7 is going to be virtually like unowned, like you said. And the guy's been absolutely balling. It's a good matchup for him, too. If you're not going Shea, we all know what to do. You go Giddey. Outside of that, it's like, man, any of these guys for OKC could get run. Any of them could be tilting. So I always try to avoid them if I can, and that's gonna be how I do it tonight.
Yeah, good breakdown. I think that makes a lot of sense. We got my number one fan in chat. Someone's got my senior pick as their profile picture in the YouTube show. Shout out to you, Zach. Even though you didn't spell my first name right, but you do got my profile picture up there. So shout out to my number one fan, Zach, right there. We got one game left on the slate. We need 325 likes, so 15 more likes for the plays of the day. Last game on the slate. Big total, Milwaukee Bucks, Portland Trailblazers, 242 total. Milwaukee is favored by 4.5. Bobby Portis still out for the Bucks. That is it, so nothing has changed. As far as Portland, Nurkic is out. Justice Winslow is out. So, yeah, Nurkic will be out to the All-Star break. We knew that. Trendon Watford, Drew Eubanks. That's an interesting talking point, both below 4K on this slate. Jeremy Grant, Josh Hart. Some interesting pieces on the Portland side. Dame, of course. Going over to Milwaukee, Giannis Tatum. I want both of you to answer that question. Drew below 8K at 7.6. So looks like a game that you can load up a little bit, make it a late night hammer game stack. If I had to pick one game stack on the slate, I think this is the game I'm going to pick. Hoop, I'll start with you. Who do you got?
Yeah, definitely Giannis for me. I'm still going. I mean, he's going kind of through one of these runs right now where, 77, 81, 62, 73, 70 fantasy points. And it's a matchup where we could see a competitive game where the Bucks are only favored by 4.5 here. The spread is the total is 244. Dame Lillard's been playing well. These are two guys you could definitely see a back and forth. And so for me, it's definitely Giannis over Tatum today, and it's not even that much of a decision, even with Brown out. In terms of other pieces in this game, Drew Holiday's price is fine enough at 7.6K. Could see the minutes extended a little bit, trying to guard Dame here. So I think he's a fine option as well. Just hard to get to these other pieces really on the Milwaukee side. And then for the Trailblazers, Dame, fine option at 10.6. I mean, if this game stays competitive, he's going to have something to do with it. So I think at 10.6, he's fine. Drew Eubanks at 3.8K. Jeremy Grant, 6.6. Minutes are there. Production hasn't necessarily been there, but I will still go to him at 6.6 here. I think he's fine. And then Josh Hart's been playing well too at 5.6. So I think you do have 5 or 6 options in this game. 242 total, relatively close spread. I think it's a good spot for the old late night hammer here.
Yeah, I agree. Mr. Pajarez goes, imagine being Giannis looking down the court and seeing Drew Eubanks. Yeah, that's going to be a long night for Mr. Drew Eubanks with Giannis in transition. That is for sure. AP, Eubanks, Watford. How do you rank them amongst some other value? Again, both below 4K. Would you max one of them? Giannis, him or Tatum, Grant, Drew, Dame. Talk about it. It's a lot of good options, I think. Talk about Middleton, too, with his minutes increasing. People have been mentioning that.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with Hoop. Giannis easily over Tatum, and a lot of it is just because you have no use of Nurkic. They're not going to be able to create that wall as everyone talks about for Giannis. And even then, you're not going to stop Giannis. But you have Drew Eubanks and Trendon Watford in there. Giannis is going to get whatever he wants. The other thing too that makes this game really intriguing is your Bucks, man. One thing, if you go back over the years. They've always been good in transition defense. Not the case recently at all. We've seen LaMelo Ball had a monster game. We saw Fred Van. We've seen multiple guys have just monster games against this Bucks team. Yeah, Ball put up 72. TJ McConnell put up a ton. Yes, Fred VanVleet 63. So I think Dame's going to be unowned tonight, and I love. As a late night hammer, taking Dame Lillard with Giannis. And just Dame is the perfect run back because if they get going, if he gets into rhythm early, man, it's just going to be an absolute nuke. And then you got Giannis on the other side who's going to get whatever he wants. So that's how I like playing it here. I do. Josh Hart has actually not a guy I like to play, but he's been playing really well right now, and it's a good spot for him. I am trying to – so Drew Eubanks, I don't want to play him. I just think he's going to get absolutely punished down low. I think Trendon Watford is the more interesting play because you can play him at the power forward spot, or center spot, whereas Eubanks, you have to use a center spot or util spot. So my preference would be Watford if you want, but really what I want here is I want Lillard and I want Giannis. And I'm going to run those. I haven't ran any builds yet. I'm definitely going to play around to see how that looks as far as like jamming in like our values that we talked about, like Stanley Steamer, Jaden Hardy. That should allow us to free up Giannis and Lillard. And then, I got to get Poole in there too. So it's going to be really interesting from like a roster construction standpoint tonight.
Yeah, and very contrarian. You start your build with those two, and a lot of people are not doing that. And man, they're both two of the better plays on this slate. So if you can make it work, if AP makes it work, you'll see in his cores, core play AP, see his FanDuel, his DK core, see if he is going that way. As always, core plays, cash charts, playbook is already up, flow chart, all the content will be up. Live show will be going on, up to lock show in an hour 13. That is all 8 games on this slate, though. Still waiting on some injury news. Not as much as usual on the 8-game slate. Before you get into plays of the day, though, Coach Quick, is Giannis guaranteed playing? He's not on the injury report. I mean, if he popped up randomly, he was ruled out. I'll never say yes to guaranteed, but right now we got to go on the assumption he's playing because he's not on the injury report. Beat Boz, AP on fire. Yes, he is on fire as usual. But let's see what you got. 340 likes. You guys got the likes for us. We appreciate it. We're getting you the plays of the day right now. I will start with myself first with the SO play of the day. I didn't want to talk it up too much in this last game because I knew I was going there. You guys talked him up for me, though. 5.9K, Josh Hart. Love the price tag. Don't see too much ownership going there right now. Without Nurkic, like you guys were saying, he's just such a good rebounder for being a 3-man. 5.9K with his rebounding rate. His floor is way higher. He makes a couple shots. He has a big ceiling for that price tag. So give me Josh Hart. He'll be all over the boards. They're going to need his rebounding today, no doubt. Love that price tag as a late night hammer. So Josh Hart, the SO play of the day. Ben Simmons is out. Don't have to worry about that too much, Nick. Let's go to AP, the gentleman's call of the day. Who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to have to add some builds because there's so many tasty plays tonight. But I'm going to go with Big Bob Williams. Some people call him Time Lord. I think he smashes Hoopsters Pistons tonight. I think he's going for I think he's going for 40 plus tonight. I think we see one of those ceiling type games from him.
Yep. Hoop. I like it. Robert Williams. I debated it too, AP. I did. I'm glad I didn't go there, so I didn't take it from you. Hoop, the rich parents play of the day. Who do you got?
All right, yeah, I'm going to go to the Golden State Warriors. It's not going to be Jordan Poole. I know I stroked off Klay Thompson. It's not going to be him. But the more I thought about it, I like that Draymond Green call at 6.4K. I mean, he should have his way in this matchup against the Thunder. I think it's a good price tag. I think there's a ton of upside. Game should be close. So give me Draymond Green as the rich parents play of the day.
I like it. Nick's saying it might affect rotations. Yeah, I mean, AP, you think Cam Thomas, I think, gets the biggest bump. Claxton for rebounding, and Cam Thomas could slide in the starting lineup. But yeah, I mean, I think Cam Thomas and Claxton get the biggest bumps there. But I really don't think the Ben Simmons news. He's been out for a little while, so I don't think it really changes too much there. But the Up to Lock show, any question you have, drop it in the live show chat. They'll get it answered for you. They'll bring you up to lock again. I think K-Fal. I believe it's K-Fal. No, it's Bobby. I think Bobby's in for K-Fal. So it's Bobby, JSC.
He's Bobby Fire is what we call him. So make sure to catch that Up to Lock show because that dude is on a massive heater.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for us, though. Hit that like, hit that big red subscribe button on the way out. Head over to Pier Sports. Title 15 gets you 15% off your first month. SaberSim is included. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you in the live show chat. Let's see some RPS logos up top. For Hoop, AP, I'm Title Town. Good luck, everybody.